Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make a pouch just like this for very little money. Bring colour to your garden all season long. I'm going to show you how to fill it and then how to maintain it. And if you stay tuned till the end of the video, I'll show you how to care for it. We had a comment, somebody asking on his hanging basket video, how to make an hanging pouch. Well, the principle's exactly the same as it is when we made the hanging basket, but just in case you haven't seen the hanging basket one, I'll start again. We'll just go through it. So this is an Hessian pouch, but you can get plastic pouches. The idea is exactly the same. It's just that the Hessian, it'll just retain a little bit more water, makes it a little bit easier to care for. So we're going to fill it with a good quality peat-based compost. So every time you put a scoop in, just give it a little shake. We don't want the compost too firm, but we don't want no air pockets in. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to drop this compost level an inch from the top. So when we water in, give it a little tap on the floor. So again, there we go. One more scoop. There we go. So we're a little bit more than an inch off top, but around about an inch from top will do nicely. Just find somewhere to hang it. Make sure there's no air pockets in it. And away we go. I've made my plant selection. So again, what I'm looking for, good root system. Just nice healthy plant up top, but we are looking for quite an healthy root system. So any plants that's a bit leggy, especially the fuchsia, I'm just going to nip it back. That's about the size I'm looking for. Another nice plant, this is Bacopa, absolutely laden in white flowers. Full trailing habit, again, I'm just going to put that one in half. This Macchia, Creeping Jenny. This fully cascading plant, so I'm just going to take the end off that. I just want it to, the more I cut, the more it's going to branch out. So just a little nip on the end, and again, it makes it easier to handle. That's a plant that's already been pre-nipped, so we don't really need to nip. That's branched off quite nicely, and it's just getting ready to flower. So, get us a knife, sharp craft knife. Now these have already got holes pre-cut, 5 down either side, which is what we're looking for. 5 down one side, 5 down other, and a couple of plants in top. But the holes, they're not big enough for these plugs, so all I'm going to do, just going to extend that hole. Just put my finger in, get your plant, and all we're doing is we're just teasing that root system in. If you haven't cut it big enough, just again, we don't want it too big, we don't want the plants falling out, but just nice enough just for it to sit in. And again, just above it, and then just repeat. I'll just go through the plants as they're going in. This is a Diacia. It's a pink flower. Again, it's absolutely packed with blooms throughout the summer. Really good bloomer. And a fully trailing habit. Another Bacopa. I think this is a pink one that I picked up. So again, just repeat. And in. And then we'll get the fuchsia up nice near the top. Yep, just popped in. And then exactly the same, just the other side. And then we're just going to repeat exactly what we did on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. Just save a bit of time. I'm just going to pre-cut these holes all the way to the top. And again, nice bushy Diacia. I'm not going to cut that back. That'll give us some nice coverage. It's already pre-branched. So again, just nicely teased in. Just give all a nice daisy type flower a bit in. And then finally, Calibrachoa Million Bell. And there we go. Just give it a little tap up and down. Just want to get rid of them air pockets. Give it a little tap on floor as well. So we don't want the compost firm. I have mentioned that. But as you've done it, you can see the compost levels drop nice, about 4 to 5 inch from top. So we're just going to top it up, but not too much. Again, just want that compost level just about an inch or so from the top for watering, which I will show you in a second or two. And then we just put a couple of plants up top. Right, got a couple of plants for top. I'm going to put 2 tumbeliners in, and that's a tumbelina, that's the flower. It's centered, it's fully trailing, it's an absolutely beautiful plant, but I am going to take the flower off, which seems an awful shame. I'm going to take the flower and all the buds, just so it can establish itself a little better. And we're just going to put 2 of them. Just put your finger in. Just make sure that's nicely tucked in below soil level. And then the next one, just so I've got a couple up top. Again, little tap, hang it up, and that's your pouch. It really is as easy as that. Ideally, it could do with sitting in a greenhouse for a couple of 3 weeks. But if you ain't got a greenhouse, there's nothing to stop that going straight out in your garden, especially if you get nice weather. If the temperatures drop below 3 degrees, then just put it in your shed, kitchen overnight, and then take it out the following day. The growth won't be as vigorous as it will be if it's in a greenhouse, but it's still a long season. It's going to last while October. And it's the same principle. I did a video on feeding. Just make sure it's fed weekly and make sure it's watered quite regularly. I'm going to water it. I'm going to show you how to water it when you first made it. I'm also going to show you how to water it once it's out on site. So I keep mentioning that you drop your compost level an inch. So an inch of water travels 9 inches through soil. This is obviously longer than 9 inches. So the water's not going to reach these plants. They will send root systems up and they will chase the water, but they could suffer. So if you do find that these plants at the bottom are starting to wilt a little bit and not getting the water that they should do, just fill a bucket of water, drop it in the bucket of water, leave it there for a minute or so, take it out, re-hang it, and then all the base of the compost will be nice and wet. Again, the Hessian sack, it's better than the plastic one, because the plastic one doesn't retain the moisture. The Hessian sack will. It will hold the moisture. But you will only get one season out of it, whether you buy plastic or whether you buy Hessian. It's not UV protected, so it tends to perish after 12 months. But it is a great addition to the garden. Sits up a fence post, up against walls, or against your shed or garage. Right, let's show you how to water it. Right, so as with your hanging basket, it's exactly the same principle with your pouches. You can be as imaginative as you want. It's limitless to what plants you can use. Here's just a couple that we've done in pouches. So this is the Busy Lizzie. So this is just going to basically, once it's mature, it's just going to be a tube of colours. But if you notice on the Busy Lizzies, because it's a smaller plant and it's a seed-raised plant, we've just put some extra plants up and down the middle. So we just put an extra 4 plants. It's not necessary. That'll just fill up a lot quicker. The way the Busy Lizzie grows, it'll grow sideways. And when it can't grow sideways anymore, then it'll start to go upwards. So that'll come 5, 6, 7 inches away from that hanging pouch. All you'll have is a tube of colour. Another really nice one to do, this is your trailing begonias illumination, so you can use the non-stops. Now with the trailing begonia, the begonia illumination, it's not a trailing plant as such, it's just got pendulous blooms. So as you're looking at it, the blooms face downwards. On a non-stop, which you can use, the foliage is exactly the same, but the blooms will face upwards or towards you. So it depends what you're after. If it's very high, then you'd really want the illumination so the blooms can face down. But if it's about 6 foot high, if it's at eye level, use the non-stops and it'll face towards you. Right, now as pouch is done, we're just going to give it a good water. The first time we water it, as we do with the hanging baskets, because I did the hanging basket video and I didn't actually show you how to water it afterwards. I explained it, but I didn't actually do it. So what we want to do is we want to make sure for the first water, it's saturated. We've got rid of his air pockets, we've tapped it on floor, it's ready to go. Compost levels dropped an inch at the top. So what we want to do is, first of all, we'll just water the top. And we're filling it up to the top. And then what that'll do, that'll soak down 9 inch. But the base of the plants, they'll still be quite dry. So we can do it again, because it's all soaked through. It's only going to soak through 9 inch no matter what, no matter how many times we do it, it's only going to get to 9 inch. But then we're going to water the front. So you go up and down, all the way around. And all that's doing is it's catching the water in the little cuts that you've made, and it's just making sure the compost is wet. All right, one more time. Up and down, the Hessian sack's nice and wet, so again, the plant is going to pull the moisture from the Hessian sack. As I mentioned, it's really good to use a good quality peat-based compost. That way you'll get the best out of your pouch. If you try to go for a cheaper option or a peat-free option, it doesn't necessarily work, and it's not necessarily what the plants are after. A good peat-based compost will do the trick. That's all you'll do. That's basically it. You'll leave that for a day, you'll come back, you'll repeat the next day, and then you'll repeat the next day. And then what you want to do then, especially if you're growing in a greenhouse, you want to start to reduce your water rate. So still water it, you can't let it dry out, otherwise your plants will start wilting. But you can reduce the amount of water you give it. Exactly the same, water from top, water from the front. and the next day and the next day, but then you'll start to gradually reduce your water rate. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage this root system to get old, and we want a nice thick-walled root system. So when you put it on into its final position, it'll stand up to the heavy winds and the sun a lot better, and it'll retain and maintain the moisture. Now remember, with a pouch, like I've said, it only travels 9 inch through, so when it's starting to establish itself, if the plants at the base are starting to suffer, and it'll not hurt the plants at all, just fill a bucket with water, put it in, just leave it there, leave it 5, 10, 15 minutes, take it back out, hang it back up, and continue to water from the top. You don't have to do that every time, because the roots will go and seek out the water, seek out the moisture. And with your hanging baskets and your pouches, it's water and feed. Feed weekly, water daily. Just keep an eye on your pouches. Especially the wind, sometimes you might need to water them twice, but feeding is vital. And there is a video out there somewhere that I explain all the feeding techniques. There it is, there's your pouch, as easy as that. Please like and subscribe, and you'll get regular updates on the nursery, how to grow your plants, how to plant your plants, what's in season at this particular moment in time, and we'll give you some tips on pests, diseases, and how best to care for your plants throughout the coming months to get the best out of your garden, and what you should be doing in your garden right now.